Hello, everyone. Thanks very much for joining us today. I'm here with an alum of our Jordan Modernization and Social Change program, newly back from Jordan. Do you want to take a moment to introduce yourself?
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Marhaba. My name is Kamil Fadel. I study at Rollins College. I major in international business and I'm minoring in Middle Eastern and North African studies. And I came back from Jordan in December.
Well, welcome back. Thank you very much for taking some time this afternoon to speak with us. I know prospective students are very interested in hearing directly from you and not always from me. So I appreciate it. Now, to jump right into the questions, there are many options to study abroad in the Middle East or North Africa. So what really made you choose SIT and specifically Jordan?
So when you get to Jordan, it becomes like immediately apparent that of all the study abroad programs available in the country and furthermore in the region, SITs both has the greatest pedigree and also provides the highest quality instruction in terms of the types of professors available and the quality of their instruction. So, and this goes across the spectrum from particularly in the Arabic language department, but furthermore in their ability to network you with the particular interests you have. The door is wide open, especially in Jordan. So I really am glad that I was able to make it, particularly to SIT's program in Jordan. I was friends with a number of students from different language schools all throughout the country, and whenever we discussed the different provisions of our program, SIT always seemed to have the best, and so I was really quite satisfied.
That's very good to hear. So now I'm going to ask you to be very specific and let me know what aspect of the program you were most satisfied with or found the most appealing.
So I'll give two. The first is most certainly the Arab language acquisition. You'll have two Arabic professors, one teaching you formal Arabic and one teaching you colloquial, like street language Arabic, and both of them work really quite closely with you to make sure that to understand what level of Arabic you are when you come in, and so that you can leave the country knowing quite a bit more Arabic, and you can also, while in country, have like the perfect skills necessary to be able to act independently in the country. And the second, spectacular facet was the quality of the paper that we have to write. So at the end of the program, you're given
the ISP.
The ISP, yes. So the quality of connections that the ISP can provide is second to none. I chose to study a particularly controversial and kind of difficult topic to study. Namely, I studied the Jordanian black market firearms, or the Jordanian firearm black market, and it wasn't initially shot down by anybody. It wasn't shot down at any point at all. It was always there was always a position that, like, wow, this is really interesting. This is going to be difficult for you to study. But we're going to make it happen. We're going to get it done. And I was able to study this particularly, I guess, weird subject with ease. At no point did I feel unsafe, uneasy, or uncomfortable. So those two in particular, the benefits during the ISP period and the Arabic language acquisition are spectacular.
Yeah, we wouldn't want to hear too much about an Arabic Inquisition.
Definitely not.
Yeah. So thank you very much for being very succinct about that. Do you want to go into your independent study project theme at all? Have you had a chance to continue studying along those lines, either the theme or the actual project while you've returned at Rollins?
So while in Jordan, I wanted to figure out basically why is it that Jordanians purchase personal firearms, because the Jordanian gun culture in many ways is quite similar to the American gun culture, but in many ways is significantly different. And so I wanted to, so I did a comparative analysis on why people in one particular region of the country purchase firearms relative to people from a different socioeconomic class. Why do they purchase or own firearms? I haven't been able to continue the study since coming back to the United States. However, it has inspired me significantly for my honors thesis, and I would like to study a similar subject, potentially again in Jordan to further my studies, or to repeat the study in another country in the Middle East. Hopefully I can do that. I can accomplish that this summer.
Excellent. Well, you'll definitely have to let us know if you end up going back to Jordan. We always love hearing about our students and what they get up to after the program.
Yes.
So to change tracks a little bit now, as you see there, while we have 2 programs a semester at our center in Abdun Circle there in Amman, it is still a relatively small program. I mean, your program is the bigger one, and we like to keep it at 30 or below. So on the one hand, you get the very intimate, personalized, experiential learning environment, but on the other hand, that means we don't have a lot of word-of-mouth recognition. So I want to hear how you would explain SIT study abroad to somebody who's never heard about us before.
Okay, study abroad. I would explain it as an all-encompassing silent hand, I think would probably be the best way to explain it. So while in Amman, first off, it's an incredibly safe city, and the country itself is quite safe. But it's also built of these different networks of individuals who know each other. And SIT in Amman has mastered access into these different networks of individuals to make sure that students are always safe. So on the one hand, they provide you with everything and anything you could possibly need in terms of studying abroad, from housing to food, as well as like lists and lists and lists of options for entertainment, or opportunities for you to further your learning after class. And then on the other hand, there's this like silent hand that's constantly pushing you to go out a little bit further on your own, to be a little bit more independent, and to try things on your own. And they always have safe and easily accessible options and avenues for you to do that. So I guess that's how I would explain it to anybody.
I like that. I haven't heard us as a silent hand coming to encourage you along. I may use that. I'll credit you. Don't worry. So now, you mentioned you felt, or that Amman and Jordan is an incredibly safe country. Could you go a little further into that? How you felt in regards to being right there in the Middle East as a foreigner?
Absolutely. So So as a man, like a pale-skinned man, I'm half Arab, so I am somewhat familiar with Arab culture, but Jordanian culture is particularly different from my Lebanese culture. So there certainly was a bit of culture shock. But as far as its safety, being in New York City at night is kind of a terrible proposition. Or being even I live in Orlando, Florida, and walking in my neighborhood at night, at like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, it doesn't seem like a particularly appealing idea to me. Whereas I would leave my house, late in the evening to go visit a cafe or to go be with my host brother. Anywhere else in the city, and procuring a taxi was always quick and easy. Speaking to anybody else was never an issue. Jordanian people are quite forthcoming with suggestions, directions. Everywhere where your homestay, anywhere that you'll be living is in an extremely safe neighborhood, and then particularly around the university. It's in the most modernized, westernized, wealthy neighborhood in the capital in Amman, and So being in Amman is much like being, I think the closest city I'd approximate it to is like Miami or something, because it's so similar in terms of like the flashy cars and the you know, ostentatious individuals. And if you want to get away from that, there are, you know, different places that you can go to, but at no point in these, you know, in any neighborhood are you, you know, looking over your shoulder concerned about somebody, you know, even petty theft is never an issue with anyone.
I felt very similar when I was there. I mean, here in Vermont, going out at 1 o'clock in the morning without some lights on around you is not the smartest thing either, but it's for bears and other animals. So now, thank you for that. So we're coming to the end of our interview today, but I wanted to ask if there was one thing that you could mention that you know now that you wish you knew before leaving to Jordan, what would that be?
Oh man, I think, you know, I don't want to spoil students, but definitely I would warn you about how absolutely freezing it can get, particularly in the wintertime. I went and I brought just 1 or 2 jackets. And that was a huge mistake of mine, because it does get incredibly cold towards the end of the semester. I'd also caution students quite significantly to actually, like, don't bring too much clothes in the first place. Save all of the room in your luggage for souvenirs when you come back. Buying clothing and you know, buying really anything in Amman isn't particularly expensive, and you can find you know, cheap clothing, cheap high quality clothing, yeah, cheap, you know, like day-to-day goods. So it's best to travel as light and as minimally as possible, because anything and everything you can find in Amman is available, as well as you know, being able to buy these things provides an even further experience. And if you can, you know, start your experience interacting with locals from the very beginning via like the purchasing of, like, you know, regular day-to-day goods, then you'll really start off your experience on a high note.
I like that. You know, the semester that immediately followed you, the day they landed, it snowed in
Yes.
Amman.
Good stuff. I have a
Yeah.
friend. I have a friend who did the modernization program last semester and is doing the health program this semester. And she sent me photographs of it snowing a few weeks ago.
Yeah, and it was funny because a lot of the students that were leaving the East Coast up here in New England area, they were leaving some of the worst snowstorms we've had all winter to land in some of the worst snows that they've had. And Dr. Bayan and Dr. Ashraf were sending me messages that it was going to get down to like 8 to 10 degrees Celsius and how cold that was going to be.
No, I can't. I'm from Orlando. I can't handle that.
I'm from up here, so that's like the temperature today.
Oh.
So, all right. Well, thank you very much for the insightful interview this afternoon. I appreciate your willingness to reschedule from earlier in the week. I always like to give the alumni the last word. So is there anything that you want to say to the prospective student out there who may be considering studying abroad, either in Jordan, in the Middle East, or just in general?
Yes, absolutely. I 100% would encourage you to study abroad, particularly in Jordan, because I think Jordan is a country that's highly representative of the entire Middle East. And if you find yourself not studying abroad in Jordan, then I think that no matter what, if you can find yourself in the Middle East, it's going to be a region that you won't regret. You'll come back with the most exciting stories. And your eyes will really be open to a particular region of the world that currently has significant bad press that is really undeserved.
Well, again, thank you very much. I agree with you with that last statement, and good luck with the rest of your semester, okay?
Thank you very much.
Have a good day.
You as well. Bye.